with your experience, do you see that these tariffs heading anywhere, or is there any other political scenario or war-like scenario which is totally not in anyone's control?
Always been something or the other happening in the world. I mean, who would have thought in 2020 फरवरी में मार्केट ऑल टाइम हाई पे था 2020 में 12,000 का निफ्टी था एंड फ्रॉम देयर हु वुड हैव थॉट दैट वी आर हेडिंग इनटू द वर्स्ट इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस वर्स्ट हेल्थ क्राइसिस I mean, one of the worst geopolitical crisis in next few years. 21 was like, okay, things should be back to normal. And we got like second wave, which was lethal than the first wave.
Correct.
22, we thought, okay, things normalized, vaccination done, everything is fine. And you got Russia-Ukraine war.
Yeah.
Inflation in US and Europe went to 10%. Interest rate went to like 40-year high. 23, you got like Israel. I mean, something or the other. And then the tariff in 2025. Who would have thought US would behave in this manner? Every investor has the potential to become a legend. All you need to do is just remain disciplined. This is the discipline that differentiates between the best player and the player who doesn't get remembered after a season.
Do you still feel certain themes are going to come into action, or one should hold a strategy towards mid cap, small cap, or in large cap?
The formula for wealth creation is only one.
Yeah.
That's sound investment plus time plus patience.
Yeah.
सही निवेश, लंबा समय और संयम.
Okay, very good evening, Navneet. It's a pleasure, and this is a yearly ritual which we have been doing it for almost 2 to 3 years now. I think our investors would be more than happy to see you in this platform one more time. First of all, wishing you a very, very happy Diwali. And let me take the pride and privilege in introducing our own group, HDFC Asset Management Company, Mr. Navneet Munot, Managing Director and CEO. Sir, welcome to this podcast. I think before allowing you to speak, I'm not going to hold you for a very long time here. People are here keen to watch you, listen to you, take the wisdom, the digital footprint world we are living. So I'm not going to spare you. I'm going to tell you what you exactly spoke last year. In case you are just
Oh my God.
in case you are just worried that what you spoke last year. You know, we are seeing in Twitters, we are seeing in Facebooks, we see in Instas what people tell couple of years back and what happened actually. It's like you're preparing for the examination and you're waiting for the results. So to start with, what you said last Diwali, I'll just quickly run you through a couple of points so that the investors as well who had benefited would be doubly confident that they'll have to listen to you and pay more attention to you. A very, very interesting point, Navneet. You mentioned about Amrit Kal, and you didn't go wrong in this time. You said India is at the right time and the right place. And you did say that the wealth creation is going to happen in this country. Believe in this nation, believe in the process, believe in the wealth creation through investment slowly. When I say slowly, it is on the phased manner, which you did promote, and you did coin a term, very interesting term. You said that STP people understand it's a systematic transfer plan, but you said it's a sound investment plus time plus patience. I think kudos to you, Navneet. I would really want to have a big round of applause for you on that. I think what you said exactly happened. So it's not that people want to review or view the CIOs and CEOs as a soothsayers or a fortune tellers. You did come on with a rational explanation. You did say what exactly is going to happen. To a large extent, it has happened. We are seeing, we have witnessed. And also you mentioned, Navneet, just to touch upon, you did say that the domestic flows will pleasantly surprise. I think there also you went right. We saw the kind of inflows, SIP inflows, approximately 29,000 crore, if I may ask you for validation. I think that's the kind of flows which is really, really helping people to get really convinced on entering into phased fashion into the capital market. I also did mention about my grandmom. Is she always going to be right? We discussed about the most talked about topic, which is the gold. I think she was also right and you are also right. Credit to both of you guys. I think last time somewhere this year, it was 79,000. And right now it's 1.29. I don't know. I haven't checked the prices today. I'm assuming it must have gone up today as well. Gold. You know what you said, Navneet? Do you recall? I know I'm just shooting out of the whatever your recordings. I know it's a pleasant one, so you're also enjoying. And thank God you didn't predict anything wrong. So you're enjoying this discussion. I ensure you'll be surprised. You very cautiously said a golden statement for gold. Gold is an insurance policy,
Oh
not a
yeah,
growth
yeah.
asset.
We discussed
You
that. Yeah.
discussed that, and you did say
You need
that.
to buy that insurance given the global
Absolutely.
uncertainty and many things that are happening in
Absolutely.
the world.
And
Yes,
I
we had a
wish
good discussion
our
on that.
investors would have followed that
Yeah,
act
yeah.
of increasing it 5 to 10% of their allocation. I'm sure they would have made a killing. Nevertheless, the
But
markets
we
are
also discussed, I remember, one or two things on the uncertainty that can come from U.S. elections.
correct.
I remember when you asked me about the risk that, and I said the U.S. elections and the uncertainty that can come from that. We have seen what has happened post the whole tariff announcements, etc. And also, I distinctly remember about froth in pockets of the market
Correct.
and some parts of the mid and small cap in certain sectors and segments of the market. I think for the prices were running ahead of the fundamentals. So I cautioned. But at the same time, I said people shouldn't lose faith in the long-term potential of the economy and don't get swayed by that. Yeah.
I understood. Understood. So now that we did a analysis on what went right for us, let's look at what is ahead of us. That's where people are keen to know. As I always tell that you are also the market is available. The market is the same. It's like a cricket pitch for both the opponents. It's the same pitch they play, and who wins? It's that particular day. That better team with better strategies win. I think market has been the same and viewed the same by many, but only if you pick it up right or strategically and in the way they approach towards investment has shown the significant difference in terms of the returns. Considering last year was a different scenario. The market was so choppy. Should you enter at all into the market? And this year, despite all that, we have seen the kind of inflows in mutual funds, the kind of inflows in the commodities. I'll definitely come there the most frequently asked. I can see everyone wanting to hear
Yeah.
about the shining metals, both silver and gold. I'll definitely cover upon that. I would like you to club 2, 3 questions or frequently asked questions from the retail perspective.
Yeah.
Navneet, I think the ultra HNI and HNIs are enough catered and enough information. I'm on behalf of those investors who are sitting out there in Coimbatore, who are sitting there away from Kanpur, or sitting there in Srinagar, sitting there in somewhere near Ludhiana. Those kind of investors are the investors who I wanted to cater to. We as an organization want to educate them from those category 2, 3 kind of cities and towns and bring them more into this capital market, and they should also benefit on the long run. That's our core objective of this investor first. And so what do you think if I have to club 2, 3 questions? So this kind of market, this kind of scenario with the global kind of uncertainties, every day you're seeing the tariff seems to be the most spoken word in the social media and everywhere else. You turn the TV on, every day you're there for either for a shock or for a surprise. What an investor should do? That is my first question. Follow-up question would be, do you still feel certain themes are going to come into action, or one should hold a strategy towards mid cap, small cap, or in large cap? I just want to combine these 3 questions and put it to you.
No, thank you, Sambath. Always a pleasure interacting, and wish you and everybody listening to a very, very happy Diwali and an great year ahead. We are at the right time, at the right place as far as India is concerned. I think amidst the global uncertainty, India is a big oasis of hope. We know the geopolitical uncertainty, we know the instability in several parts of the world, but I think India stands out. Of course, markets after 3 or 4 years of stellar run have seen a period of consolidation. We'll talk more about it. But I think I feel very positive about India from a longer term perspective. And of course, last 1 year, while markets have been consolidating, but some of the reforms that have been taken in last couple of quarters, I think will keep us in good stead. We are already seeing the positive implications from the GST cut, from interest rate cut, from the cut in the personal income tax and all of that on the festive spending. And I'm sure in this quarter, when the numbers come, everybody will see that consumption is getting revived. Government in last couple of years has done the heavy lifting on the capex side. Government capex has been increasing. I mentioned this earlier. If anybody has to give another Oscar to India, that will be roads, renewables, and railways, RRR. The another one could be PAN, ports, airports, and network. I think India has been building physical infrastructure at a great speed. We are building digital infrastructure, which is absolutely best in class in the world. And by leveraging these two over a period of time, we'll also build the best in class social infrastructure, which is education, healthcare, skill development, so on and so forth. And AI, while is a big transformative force, I think India as an adopter of AI, as a use capital of the world, I think India can surprise on the upside by what AI can be used to solve problems at population at scale. From market's perspective, you asked what should investor do. I mean, every year based on the market environment, your asset allocation should not undergo a change. That should be based on your life goal. That should be based on the time for which you are investing. That based on like your risk appetite and all of those factors. I think they continue to focus on the asset allocation, continue to focus on the constant rebalancing, continue to focus on long-term investing through in a systematic manner. You specifically asked about the market capitalization themes, etc. I would say, let's say something like a flexi cap, which basically gives opportunity to the fund manager to select stocks across all themes, across all sectors, across all market capitalization. So as of now, last few quarters, I think we have been, I would say, a higher allocation towards large cap. There was a point in time when there was more opportunity in the mid and small cap, but given the run up in the valuation around, let's say 1.5 years back, gradually the allocation to large caps have been increased. So the portfolio manager has the flexibility to allocate across market capitalization, take advantage of any sector or themes that they like. And as a house, we are in HDFC a lot more bottom up investors. We focus on getting the stock selection right, and that's where our I would say big edge is.
That was a very, very safe answer, I would call Navneet's standard. But still, I really appreciate when you speak from the bottom of the heart of the core philosophies and sticking on to the core values on generating returns consistently for our investors from HDFC AMC's house that we have always demonstrated in the past as well. So that's a very convincing reply. I'm sure investors would benefit out of that. If I have to equate, I always, the flavor of the season is cricket. We just won the Asia Cup, and the women's cricket team is also on the roll. If I have to equate stock market and cricket, the large caps, I always say it's a test cricket. People always wanted to say safe. They all know that, it's a watching 5-day test cricket. But the action lies in T20, which is a small cap and micro cap. That's when the action is. Because we have seen, right, in the last 5 years, in the last 10 years, the kind of companies, small cap have definitely become into mid cap have become to large cap. We have seen such sectors moving up overall. 5 years before, I don't think so we would have seen 5 asset management companies listed. While we are speaking, Canara Robeco got listed yesterday, and today almost close to 5 companies, asset management company being listed out there. The number of hospitals that got listed out there. What is the next format? Is it coming like cricket is now? They're talking about already T10 format. Is there any other smallest cap coming up, or anything is there on the store which you would see, having spent almost 3 decades in this space? You feel anything is there cooking up, or they should stick on to this test cricket only? Or is that what kind of phase are we running in, Navneet?
So investment is not about excitement. It's not about entertainment. It's about investing for the long run. As someone said, that it's seeing the grass grow, or it's seeing the paint dry. If you want excitement, go to Las Vegas. Now, actually, people don't go to Las Vegas. There are many other places in the world, but I think it's more about getting the average right over a long period of time.
Yeah.
It's not about maximizing the gain in 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 quarter, or 1 year. It's about compounding your money for a very long period of time. You can see the history of sports also. Look at the cricket stars. I won't take the names, but the people who had, let's say, played 10,000 matches and had a certain average versus somebody who had much higher number of runs in 10 matches, right? Much higher as an average, I'm saying. Could have better average in 10 matches, but they survived only 10 matches. You need to survive for 10,000 matches, then only you become a legend. And every investor has the potential to become a legend. All you need to do is just remain disciplined. This is the discipline that differentiates between the best player and the player who doesn't get remembered after a season.
As they always say, Navneet, you also would have heard this. If you want to create wealth, I think you better be patient if you want to
Absolutely.
be rich
Yeah,
and
yeah,
creating
yeah.
wealth. There's a,
Yeah.
there-
I don't think there is another way. You quoted me like last year I mentioned, and many times I've said that the formula for wealth creation is only one.
yeah,
That's sound investment plus time plus patience.
Yeah.
सही निवेश, लंबा समय और संयम.
I think you
इन
summed it up
तीनों में
last
से
time
अगर
also.
एक को भी
Yeah.
आप निकाल दोगे तो बड़ी वेल्थ तो नहीं बनेगी. हो सकता है आप एफ&ओ में कुछ बड़ा कर लें, हो सकता है कभी आप गेमिंग ऐप पे भी जीत जाएं, अब तो नहीं है, हो सकता है आप और कहीं जीत जाएं, लेकिन वो पैसा बड़ा बनाना वो एक दूसरी कला है.
Understood. I think you have been consistent in this as well.
हमारी इंडस्ट्री में और आप लोगों ने मिलके हमने उसको एक इजी बना दिया है. ऐसा नहीं कि आपको उसमें बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ रही है, आपको बहुत सीखना पड़ रहा है. हमने उसको काफी सिंप्लीफाई कर दिया कि एक बार जैसे मैंने पहले बताया, आपका गोल प्लानिंग कर दिया, आपका एसेट एलोकेशन कर दिया, फंड सिलेक्शन कर दिया, उसके बाद आप धीरे धीरे निवेश करते रहो और पैसा बढ़ता रहेगा, आपके गोल पूरे होते रहेंगे.
Absolutely. So Navneet, I think see we plan so well. People are planners. Few people are execution. Believe in execution. Few people invest before going to the temple, mosque, or church, or a respective faith, and then they invest. So we have all sort of investors for us. But no one is prepared for an accident. I'm not trying to push an insurance policy here in investment. There's nothing called insurance policy in investment. But do you foresee? Because we never, last year while we were saying, I know it's a hard question for you. I'm doing a very bad job here trying to predict, which is not possible. But still, with your experience, do you see that these tariffs heading anywhere? Or is there any other global political scenario or war-like scenario which is totally not in anyone's control? But do you think India will still, it's not that we didn't have it last year. The reason why I'm asking you this is we don't believe in prediction. We saw this last year. I think we sailed it well. Do you think are we prepared again? Seeing the mutual fund SIP kind of nowhere, none of the month, I don't think we saw a couple of months. We saw the SIP book size degrown. But otherwise, it just picked up again.
It's continuously growing,
increasing. It's on the upward trend only. So are we prepared for accidents? Or do you see any accidents at all happening? And also a few words about, you were also an ex-AMFI chairman as well, where the industry is heading to.
So when you are investing in equity market or when you are investing, you must be prepared for the volatility. Volatility is nature of the beast. Markets are volatile. There is uncertainty. That's why everybody doesn't invest, right? They don't put all their money. And that's why market delivers higher returns. That's where the risk premium comes from. Because you perceive certain risk, you get paid, but over a longer period of time. If you can ride through that volatility in a disciplined manner, you earn that equity risk premium. In the short run, many things can happen. I think it was J.K. Galbraith or who said that there are two kinds of forecasters. One who don't know, the other who don't know that they don't know. There's no third one.
Absolutely.
So I won't really try to forecast that what will happen in the world in 3 or 6 months. For a long-term investor, that doesn't really matter.
Okay.
We spend disproportionate of our time on trying to read everything every minute. And earlier it used to be like you get the newspaper next day and that's where you learn. Then came the 24/7 TV channels. And now with the X and LinkedIn and the Meta and all the Telegram and WhatsApp channel and what you have, I mean, there is like barrage of information. But I've quoted this many times and I've been saying this, the data is not information is not knowledge is not understanding, and understanding is not wisdom. पैसा विजडम से बनता है, वेल्थ क्रिएशन विजडम से होती है. वो विजडम मैंने पहले एसटीपी वाला बताया आपको. सो ये सब तो कुछ चलता ही रहेगा. There will always be something or the other happening in the world. I mean, who would have thought in 2020, February में market all time high पे था, 2020 में 12,000 का निफ्टी था. And from there, who would have thought that we are heading into the worst economic crisis, worst health crisis? I mean, one of the worst geopolitical crisis in next few years. 21 was like, okay, things should be back to normal. And we got like second wave, which was lethal than the first wave. 22, we thought, okay, things normalized, vaccination done, everything is fine. And you got Russia-Ukraine war.
Yeah.
Inflation in US and Europe went to 10%. Interest rate went to like 40-year high. 23, you got like Israel. I mean, something or the other. And then the tariff in 2025. Who would have thought US would behave in this manner? So, and we don't know about 2026. But the point is, if you invested in February 2020, Nifty was 12,000. Today's what? 25,000 or something.
Absolutely.
And if you kept investing in this period when markets were down, kept the faith, you have done even better.
Definitely.
And more importantly, again, the importance of asset allocation. Gold would have like more than doubled, actually much more than doubled since then. Yeah.
So if I have to pick the few lines from the words of wisdom, I can hear one thing very loud and clear. You don't know whether accidents will happen or not, but you better wear your seatbelt. Your seatbelt is nothing but
absolutely.
Don't time the market and then enter in a phased SIP kind of a route and phased manner and be patient. I think these are the three things which the clients are definitely going to remember this forever. Now comes the most interesting question, Navneet. What happened to gold? What happened to silver? So many. What really actually, today, as you rightly said, information is not knowledge. Information is information. Knowledge is knowledge. The question is, the retail investors, they come and ask, should I redeem? There's three questions, as you said. You either you don't know whether you know, or you don't even know whether you know that you know. So the question is, should I redeem? Should I enter? Should I continue my investments? These are the only three questions a retail investor or a HNI comes and asks. What actually happened in gold and silver, both the commodity, and then what one should look at or how they should travel from here.
In 2 or 3 ways. First of all, I would say that never extrapolate recent returns. Different asset classes work differently at different points in time. That's where the role of, let's say, a multi-asset fund, a hybrid fund, the asset allocation, etc. Because there are years where gold and silver have done well. There are years where fixed income has done well. There are years where equity has done well. Over a very long period of time, equity has delivered higher returns, inflation beating returns. In last few years, we have seen gold and silver doing exceptionally well, but you should not extrapolate those returns because we have also seen long periods where they have not performed as well as equities. There would be different cycles at different points in time. One way to look at it is, if you look at like Sensex or Nifty, how much of grams of gold can buy one Sensex or one Nifty? Relatively, that actually has become relatively better valued. I would say equity has become better valued relative to gold and silver because they have gone up so much in the recent past. Should you not have any allocation given the price? You should have some allocation. But if the prices have gone up so much, there could be time to rebalance that rather than doubling down on it at a higher price. World is an uncertain place. I've always said that, like last couple of years, that we are in a period of like hyper uncertainty, whether it's the situation in US that we talked about, the fears about US dollar, given the public debt levels in the United States, the geopolitical risk, and many fears. Central banks are buying gold. Some of the institutions who had no allocation are allocating a bit. There's huge buying in the ETFs and, of course, the physical buying that's been happening. And in silver, there is also an industrial use. But despite all of those factors, we have also seen long periods of correction. So don't kind of like go overboard on that, now this asset has done very well in last 5 years, so it will do the best in next 5 years also. But you don't know how high is high, where it kind of really goes. So have reasonable allocation, but not excessive allocation would be my personal view on that. I'll also tell you another interesting thing about the gold and silver prices going up in India. You know what? When equity prices go up, people feel richer. They spend somewhere else. Even if they have not sold their stocks, they spend that money because they feel richer.
Definitely.
If you have money in, let's say, real estate and the value of the plot has gone up, people spend money because they feel richer. You know what interesting I tell people? In gold and silver, they feel poorer because they think, अरे यार अब अगली बार जब खरीदूंगा महंगा खरीदना पड़ेगा. अगली बार खरीदूंगा तो कम आएगा. It's just a mindset in India. Maybe we need to overcome that over a period of time and be more rational about it.
But I think you can't expect to put it better than this, Navneet. I was really expecting that kind of clarity when it comes to gold and silver and the way what you need to do. You nailed it better. But we also observed this customer behavior, the conviction from physical gold. If you recall, this was there maybe our podcast 3 years before when we were speaking so high about the gold ETF. I think today those investors. Just a few data point. We used to have almost 5 to 10 kind of investors 4 years back buying in gold, and then it went up to 200 to 300. Today we have thousands of investors coming in and buying in, selling in day in and day out. That clearly shows, from single digit, double digit to 3 digit. I only wish this literacy about buying gold in ETF format is only going to increase from here on. And definitely the physical gold, we also see that I don't know how many more gold shop owners are going to list that's another, I don't know if I can call it as a worry or it's an open market.
I mean, for me, the real gold and silver in India is the Indian entrepreneurs. I mean, we had this NFO, we had discussed this before, HDFC Innovation Fund. The kind of innovative things that entrepreneurs are doing, the kind of newer business models that are emerging, the kind of segments that are emerging. When a country grows from $2,500 to $5,000 in 1.4 billion people, there are different businesses that start gaining a big scale.
Agreed.
There are hardworking, well-intentioned, ambitious entrepreneurs who are putting the right things in place, identifying the newer opportunities, and technology is giving wings to their ambition, because what was not possible 10 years back to scale your business is possible today by leveraging technology. And what India has done on the data side is just phenomenal. And now with the AI usage, several of the businesses can scale up very significantly.
I agree. Just to stretch that point, what you left there, who would have thought, someone can come to your house and you can pledge your gold in front of your eyes, and in less than 10 minutes he's going to credit in your savings account. How authentic it is. That's what you rightly said. Technology helping those entrepreneurs and those ideas are taking it. We can see complete ecosystem built around.
In last 2 years in HDFC AMC, we have more than doubled our investor base. More than doubled. Wow. So what we got over a long period of time, we got in last 2 years.
I think I just said
again. Definitely. I mean, this is because of the track record. This is because of the pedigree. This is because of the wide reach and everything that we have. But it's also the technology, right? Because it's become a lot easier.
Agreed. So we always kept our conversation short and sweet, but the last question before we wind up this interesting conversation with you, Navneet, what are the 2 schemes or 3 schemes, if I have to ask you? I know you have all of your babies, but our investors...
All are my babies, and of course our team has been doing phenomenal work. And
correct. Would you like to just
It will be like
touch upon?
injustice to say that uska fund acha nahi hai.
But that's exactly what I wanted to know.
Fund acha kare. So that's why there is a role for you, right? Somebody needs to guide the investor ki aapke portfolio mein kaun sa fund sahi hai, and what does it like really fit in the best given their time horizon and everything. I think I mentioned about the Flexi Cap Fund because you get the flexibility to invest across market segments, across sectors, across market capitalization, and take advantage of the opportunities wherever they are emerging. If you ask me sector and thematic, because it's more broader, it's an innovation fund where there could be an innovation in manufacturing, it could be in services, it could be, you talked about healthcare, it could be about in any segment. Companies who are thinking innovatively could be an interesting idea. I was speaking to Chirag yesterday, and he said that there was definitely froth in mid and small cap, part of mid and small caps a year back, and now he's seeing opportunities emerging. Valuations have corrected in some of the places. And another interesting thing that's happening in India is the IPOs which are coming. Some of them are excessively valued. We don't participate, but some of them have corrected after listing after some time. And then some of the newer companies where the runway for growth can be very high. So the overall universe is expanding in the small cap space. And I mean, a fund manager is creating a portfolio of 40, 50, 60 stocks can always identify opportunity in hundreds of the stocks.
Oh, wow. That's really nice way of putting it across. I think you haven't offended any of your fund managers, but of course, Chirag would be happy to hear that. Last year also you mentioned, if my memory serves right, Navneet, Flexi Cap, definitely you did mention. And it is...
No, see, I mean, I can talk about many funds. I mean, when I speak to Anand Ladda, who manages our value fund, he feels highly convinced. I think the portfolio that he has curated, because in value fund, you are looking, I mean, you are very particular about the valuation, you are very particular about the value that you are paying. And he thinks that because of the consolidation market has gone through in terms of both price correction in some stocks, a time correction that stocks haven't gone up for last 1-2 years, and what you're paying today relative to the growth, and now growth is turning around in some of the segments of the economy thanks to the reforms that we talked about earlier. There could be interesting opportunities.
Noted. Well noted. Well noted, Navneet. I think I would only request all our investors on the Muhurat trading summer 2028. Let them go and register an SIP on this auspicious occasion. Let them go and register a gold ETF on a Dhanteras, and let them also go and register a flexi cap on the day of Muhurat trading. Thank you very much. I can't thank
Entirely
enough
my
on
pleasure.
behalf of
Thank
all
you
of
so much.
investors and HDFC Securities for having you here. We will meet more often again for the benefit of the
course.
investors, of course. And thank you once again.
Thank you so much.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.